Hey up, troops. It's the anti-toxicity, anti-cheat, player protection update that we've got in Year 9 Season 2. And I'm going to go through the details because there's quite a lot to go through. Some good stuff, but I also think we need a bit of a frank conversation. But I'm going to stay positive about it, or at least try to. This is the tweet that they just put out. Reputation system refresh coming Year 9 Season 4. We'll go through that in a second. Other community feedback, which isn't in this update, but it's worth mentioning. In-game reporting. This system can be exploited in ways which reduce reporting accuracy overall. I completely agree with that. I watch people stream and they'll load into a game and they'll report every player on the other team straight away just in case. What's the point in that? So now there might be one person cheating. So we've just reported 5 people, one person's cheating. What's the point? It's just completely watering down the reports, and it's going to be less accurate. So don't do that. When you're playing a game, or before you play a game and you can see someone's cheating because you use R6 tracker or whatever it might be, then report them. Don't just report everyone at the start of the game because that just completely waters it down. Voice chat moderation, this is incredibly important to us and it's a feature that we plan to add in the future. That would be easier these days with AI and knowing when someone says and all the other things that people say in game that you don't want to hear. Squad commendations, the limit on squad member commendations is not rewarding. That is kind of true. You know, if you work in a 5-stack and you're being helpful and communicative across different games, there's no reason why you shouldn't be commended for that every game. Yes, it does mean that you'll always just commend your friends. So does that then mean if someone's cheating and another person's cheating and they're playing with the cheater, they can just commend them at the end of every game? I don't know. Anyway, that's the tweet they just put out. This is the update and the details and the bones of the update. Before we start, you can see these words here. Anti-cheat. I just want to talk about cheating in Siege at the minute. And listen, I am as down in the dumps as it gets with cheating in Siege at the minute. But I think what I want to get across in the chat I wanted to mention is I feel for not just Siege, any member of any team that's involved with anti-cheat, player protection, etc. at the moment in 2024. Cheating has infested the FPS market as a whole. The entirety of it. Now, granted, some games have a slightly more stringent anti-cheat than others. We're talking about Valorant and Vanguard. But let me just make one thing clear here, right? Vanguard and BattlEye are not a million miles apart in terms of anti-cheat. They're both kernel level, which a lot of people think BattlEye is not kernel level. It is. The difference between Vanguard and BattlEye, or the main difference, or one of the main differences, and bear in mind, I'm not an anti-cheat expert. This is just what I know, or what I've been told. The main difference is Vanguard, the anti-cheat for Valorant, opens up and runs in the background when you launch your PC. Okay? BattlEye launches when you launch Siege. So as soon as you launch your PC, Vanguard is looking for any potential cheating software that you might be running in the background or starting to load up. The difference with BattlEye, or BattlEye, I'm not pronouncing the T's for some reason. The difference with BattlEye is you could launch cheating software and things to spoof different things and then launch Siege, and the cheat's already running. So it wouldn't have as much of a view about what you're doing before you play Siege. Vanguard, however, sees everything you do before you play Valorant. And when you launch your PC, if you close Vanguard, you can't launch Valorant until you restart your PC. You can't close Vanguard, launch Valorant, and Vanguard launches again. It has to launch with your PC to play Valorant. That's the biggest difference from what I'm led to believe. But don't get it wrong, BattlEye is kernel level. Now, I have as much concern about BattlEye as the next person because it's not an easy job to do, but there are people running around in Siege with a 21 KD, with a 93% win rate, flying through the air with a 100% headshot rate. How is that not picked up? I don't know. But then you've got the sort of closet cheaters, or if you know, a closet cheater is someone who tries to make it look like they're not cheating. I can understand why that wouldn't get picked up by an anti-cheat to begin with, because it looks like they're not cheating to an anti-cheat. It just looks like they're good at the game. You wouldn't be able to pick it up. Whereas people flying through the air, shooting through walls, 100% headshot, blah, 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 they are. And I think you could do some manual work on anti-cheat on Siege. I feel like anyone who's got over a 2.5 KD, who's played 50 games or more, I can pretty much guarantee they're cheating to an extent. 97-8% of those people will be cheating. Spoit, Doki, Bolo, and some of the best players in the world don't get a 2KD over 50 games in ranked. I mean, they might be there, maybe there or thereabouts with a 2KD. But someone who's got a 2.7 KD after 80 games, who doesn't play comp and is not a pro player, is not a god at the game. I could almost guarantee you they're cheating. There might be the odd exception, although I very much doubt it. So that's what I wanted to get across is I'm playing. I stream on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, twitch.tv/A-Littleton, get it followed. I play cheaters all the time. You'll see when I stream, I play cheaters all the time. Or we try and cancel the games because we know the cheating because we've got tracker running and we check stats.cc, etc. I would say this season, 70% of the games I've queued into, 70% of the games I've queued into have been against cheaters, and we've either cancelled those games or we've had to play them. And I find it just as frustrating as everybody else, but I really do sympathise with anti-cheat developers at the minute, because it's like a game of cat and mouse where you're never going to catch up, isn't it? It's like an anti-cheat doesn't know what it's got to beat until the cheat exists. It can put certain measures in to try and stop certain things, but then someone develops a cheat, and the anti-cheat team only know what that cheat is once it exists. It's in-game, and then you go, oh, bloody hell, what's that? It's a bit like, the analogy I used the other day was like, it's a bit like a fire extinguisher, not knowing what type of fire it needs to put out. So you've got like a water fire extinguisher there, right? It's really good at putting fires out on almost everything, but then you get a fire on an electrical item, and all of a sudden your water fire extinguisher is not doing anything. And then you need to go, hang on, well, we need to develop a new fire extinguisher here. Right, okay, I'll come up with a CO2 extinguisher. Right, but that's going to take a bit of time. And in the meantime, the fire's raging on the electrical item. You can't spray water on it because it makes it worse. And then you develop a CO2 extinguisher and you put that fire out. And then before you know it, you've got a fire that's on some cooking oil. And then you need a wet chemical or a powder extinguisher, whatever you need. But you don't know that until that fire exists. And that's a bit like anti-cheat. You're always chasing your tail. You're always trying to reacting to what cheat developers are putting out there. And look, part of it, let's put Valorant to one side because we've talked about that. PUBG, COD, Apex, CSGO are absolutely plagued with cheaters. Rust, casual games like Rust, GTA RP, plagued with cheaters. The whole market's on its arse. And I think, I've sort of gone on a bit of a rant here. I will go through this in a sec. I feel like we need to introduce something like, here's one for the comments. How would you feel about linking your ID with your account? And you have to link an ID with an account. So I think there would be tons of GDPR data protection issues with this. This is not an actual feasible idea, I don't think. But if you had to submit an ID, you had to put your driving license on your Ubisoft account, and then it would be approved to play ranked. How many people would then still cheat when their ID is on that account? I wouldn't have a problem with it. The problem would be data protection and making sure my ID then doesn't get into the wrong hands because Ubisoft have got it. And I'm sure they could put systems in place to protect it. But I would do that. I wouldn't have an issue with that. But I guarantee people who cheat casually probably wouldn't want to put their government ID on an account, and then that gets banned for cheating. And then the next time they need to make an account, they have to get like the mum's passport to make an account. Eventually, when then that gets banned for cheating, then they've got to get the stepdad's driving license. And how many mums and dads are going to go, yeah, use me driving? You know what I mean? And how many kids are actually going to ask for the dad's passport because they want to make another account to cheat on? I don't think they are. But I would be okay with that. Another idea that I had, the phone number that you have to link to your account to be able to play ranked? I think you should have to have a 2-factor authentication code sent to that phone every time you want to play ranked. Like, not every match, but when you log into Siege and you say, right, I want to play ranked, it pings a text to that phone and you have to put a 6-digit code into Siege. Because how many people make these accounts and they just buy a phone number from Russia for 20p, they link it to that phone number and they never use it again in their life? That would crack down. I mean, the average ranked player who isn't cheating, who's got one account with one phone number, or a couple of accounts with 2 phone numbers, whatever it might be, because, people have multiple accounts. How much of a hardship would that be? I want to play ranked. Okay, we'll text your number linked to this account. 123456. This is my code, 123456. Right, you can play ranked. That would be another good step, in my opinion. Sort of like a 2-factor authentication type of thing. But anyway, that's my thoughts on anti-cheat. Look, I find it as frustrating as everybody else does at the minute. Probably more so. The guys who play in my elo, champ, no, just kidding. The people at the top of the elo scale are suffering the most. That's not to say people at the lower end of the elo scale are not suffering as well, because cheaters are everywhere, but most of them are at the top end. 70% of my games have got cheaters in. It's immensely frustrating, because when Siege is good, it's immense. It's the best game in the world, and that's why it's more frustrating for me at the minute, because Siege is class, Siege is mint. Siege is the best game ever when it works, when you're not playing cheaters. So that's why it's frustrating, because you just want to play the game. But anyway, that's that out of the way. Be patient. I'm not very patient. I get frustrated with it when I'm streaming as well. It's easy for me to say this now. I'm calm, and I say calm. I've just been on a rant for 10 minutes about anti-cheat. We've not even been through this yet. But I know that Ubisoft know there's a massive problem. And they're doing what they can to try and resolve it. And some of what they're doing is in this. Right, enough. Anti-cheat, stay positive. Don't worry, things will get better. Year 9 Season 2 has seen an increase in cheater activity. You're not kidding, Ubisoft. No, I'm just kidding. And in this player protection update, we're showing how we're working to reverse this. The journey of the anti-cheat is a constant back and forth between ourselves and cheat makers. Yeah, just said that. Big game of cat and mouse. And we're in this alongside our players. Come on, Ubisoft, you say it, mate. We're coming back stronger, and an effort and passion and not to be thwarted. What a great use of that word. You don't see that much anymore. Just to echo that, I'm not, I know people at Ubisoft. I'm not trying to be like that. I've spoken to them. They're aware of the problem. They're not ignoring it. Look, just talking this on a business level, Siege is one of Ubisoft's biggest earners, and cheating is causing a major problem on one of their biggest earners. Ultimately, Ubisoft as a business, it wants to make money. It can do that by getting rid of cheaters, and they're aware of it, and they're going to be doing what they can. But it's a tough one. Anyway, I could talk about cheating for like half an hour. Should we just ignore this and we'll do a cheating video? So, covered in this update, anti-cheat, encryption, binary hardening, the impact on investments, the QB system, Mousetrap, match, cancellation 3.0, new ban data for May and June. Anti-toxicity, learnings, reputation standings, reputation system, which is getting an overhaul in Y9 Season 4, additional updates and features, in-game player reports. Right, then anti-cheat. Let's get into the juicy bits. Anti-cheat development team. Shall I make this a bit bigger? It's about all right there, right? In Year 9 Season 1, we decided that it was necessary to have increased long-term investment for Siege anti-cheat. In response to this, we restructured our team in a way that would dedicate more resources from the challenge of cheating and anti-cheat. Why is anti-cheat capitalized? Our new team is now composed of multidisciplinary expert developers with an increased field of expertise that has continued to ramp up since our last anti-cheat status update, linked here, and is dedicated to improving the cheating situation in Siege. I think they said this at SI that they were going to be adding more people to the team. They're not unaware of the problem. Our anti-cheat strategy can be split into two main parts, proactive and reactive. Proactive protection includes measures taken ahead of time, which will still have a future or long-term impact. I actually need to read this out loud and not just skim read it whilst I'm making a video. This will generally impact cheater creators more, leading to reduction of available cheating software, encryption and binary hardening, proactive, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Basically, they're going to make it harder to make cheats in the first place. So that's the dream, isn't it? You stop people making cheats, and then you don't have to worry about reacting to them. But then on the other side, the reactive side of things, with our proactive protections having reduced the amount of cheat software available, or that's the plan. I mean, if we could just get rid of one cheat provider that begins with a K, we would be sailing, man. Reactive protections can now continue the journey. Reactive protections will cover the areas which tend to affect cheaters themselves. So this isn't stopping an anti-cheat existing. This is stopping people who are cheating. So users rather than the software. Who again will have less software to choose from because of proactive protection. This is where BattleEye and the QB system step in, working again to disable cheats and ban illegitimate players. The anti-cheat team is working to create new innovative approaches to anti-cheating, both proactive and reactive. Yeah, of course they are. Sorry, I sound like I'm being sarcastic. Yeah, of course they are. What I mean there is, yeah, they are. And hopefully it has an impact, because it's bad at the minute, man. I'm not going to skirt around that. Look, I aren't here as some Ubisoft shill to say that, don't worry, everything's fine. Cheating's not that bad. Cheating's horrific at the minute. It's horrendous, and it gets me down. But I'm not going to let the cheaters win, and I'm going to try and be positive about the light on the horizon, the light at the end of the tunnel. Binary hardening. After the beginning of Year 9 Season 1, we started work on an internal roadmap to update the game code using encryption and hardening techniques to enhance security. We've made several hardening updates during Year 9, however this is a long-term strat. While every security update that we make has the potential to help the here and now, this work will hit ongoing and future cheat creation hardest, as it results in new cheats being harder to develop. So this is more proactive stuff. Excuse me. The changes introduced with encryption and binary hardening can, however, also work to disrupting cheat makers, resulting in unstable cheats after each season update. Yeah, so whenever there's a patch, you always get a few hours of cheat-free gaming before the cheat makers update their cheat to work with the new patch. Just release a hotfix every 10 minutes, Ubisoft. We closely analyse the time that it takes for cheats to get back online after each deployment, while also monitoring in-game cheating reports. Such analysis helps the anti-cheat team understand how much an update is performed. Yeah, so they'll do an update, they'll find out how long it takes for the cheats to come back online. If it's longer, they know it's working and it's working more successfully, and if it comes back online right away, it hasn't been very successful. Some cheats came back online more quickly than expected. You're not kidding. Resulting in a surge of cheating early on. This is true. We also measured an increase in cheater reports during this time, indicating that players were coming into contact with cheaters more often. Hell yeah. Our promise is to keep investing in hardening for seasons to come. Hardening. Or 35, by the way. All the while working to find new ways to further improve the game's security. These will be key factors in reducing the impact of cheaters, both the short and long term. In the meantime, we ask that you continue to report players that you suspect of cheating, as this is a tremendous help for the team. Don't report everyone on the other team just in case. That completely waters it down. It's useless. QB expansion. So, people hear these two letters bandied around. I believe, and again, I'm not an anti-cheat expert, but I believe that the QB system, when you launch the game, the game code says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the cheat is looking for the code that says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? QB then closes the game. You know when you launch Siege on PC, the game launches and then it restarts again. Or it did. It now tells you QB restart, actually. It now says on the menu. So then it closes and launches again. And the code is now 1342. 15342. You know, whatever. It scrambles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's more complex than this. The idea is the cheat software that's looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going at I can't find Siege. The code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is 15342? Do you know what I mean? That's what QB's there to do, I believe. And it worked really well to begin with, but then over time, cheat software developers have realized what it is. And like anything, if there's a code or an encryption, there's a certain amount of different possibilities. It's like the Enigma code in World War II. It's a certain amount of possibilities of what that code could be turned into. And if you know what the pattern is and you know it's probably linked to like dates and times and blah, 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 you might be able to figure it out and bypass it, which obviously some people are doing. This talks about what QB, the history of it here. A new anti-cheat team is currently working on an expansion of the QB system, which we believe would be a game changer for the disruption of cheat makers. We cannot share technical details, but we're hoping to get a prototype in Year 9 Season 4. So we're nearly in Year 9. We're like a month away from Year 9 Season 3. And Year 9 Season 4 would be December, so like 4 months away from that. QB system is crucial in undoing the increase in cheating that players have felt this season, and it remains a high priority for the team. Mousetrap. I gotta be honest, I don't know much about Mousetrap. I sort of know about what it is, but I don't know much about it. Because I don't play console. Mousetrap first released in Year 8 Season 1, wow, that long ago, with unprecedented success, reducing spoofing devices by 78%. In some cases, cheaters did find ways around the system, so the team has worked to resolve any exploits that have arisen. Today, we're focusing our Mousetrap efforts on detection capabilities, continuously making updates and monitoring its performance. As we continue to work, we'll be ensuring that more device types can be detected with increased accuracy. This is a good one. Sorry, I've got wind here. I've just had my dinner. I had sausage and mash, if you're asking. What are you at? Get it in the comments. As we've shared previously, an overhaul on the Mousetrap sanction system will also be coming in Year 9 Season 4, forcing confirmed users of spoofing devices into PC matchmaking. Let us be clear too, that those players will be fighting on the proper PC playing field. So we are working to ensure that PC recoil will be activated in those cases. If you're using a spoofing device, you will not have an advantage. So, I have two things to say about Mousetrap PC matchmaking. Well, three things actually. One, absolutely hilarious. I can't wait for keyboard and mouse console champs who think they're good on console because they're beating people on controller to come and play in a champ lobby on PC. They'll get absolutely run ragged. Number two, what rank will they play at on PC? Will their console rank match the PC rank? If they're a champ on console, do they get put into champ PC lobbies? Thirdly, it's all well and good until you get one of these guys on your team. So I love to play against console, keyboard, and mouse champs. I'd love to. But what I don't want to do is queue into a game and have two of those guys on my team. Do you know what I mean? I suppose over time it will even out. It's luck of the draw. Eventually it's got to be 50-50, hasn't it? You've just got to level out roughly. But yeah, that would be... It's going to be funny, man. Because they'll get absolutely smashed. The way that the game is played on PC is different to console. I'm not saying it's better, it's just different. And those that think they're good at the game because they run people on on control around will have a harsh awakening when they come to PC. Match cancellation 3.0. Match cancellation 3.0 will be coming to Year-End Season 4. Will feature cheater match. Okay, so this is when a game will be cancelled halfway through if they detect a cheater. With this version, once a cheater is confirmed and consequently banned, the match they're in will be automatically cancelled, leading to less time. It sounds incredible. I'll sort of believe that when it happens, if I'm honest with you. Again, I'm not being negative. I am about to be negative. BattleEye doesn't ban people that have got a 23 KD flying through the air with a 100% headshot rate. And they've played 200 games this season. I don't believe they're going to detect it mid-game. I hope they do. Look, I'm ready to be proven wrong. I would love that. You're playing against the guy on the other team who's giving it big in the all chat going, oh, you what a... You know, whatever. And whilst he's running around just, like, obviously rage hacking, spinning, whatever you want to call it. Round 3, game cancelled, cheater detected. His account banned. Game cancelled, you go back to the menu, you don't have to play it. It's the dream. I mean, the dream is you don't play him to begin with. But having that match cancellation thing would be cool. Ban numbers. This concerns me a little bit. A little bit. The reason it concerns me is cheating for me at the moment is as bad as it was in the middle of last season. Middle of last season was horrendous. I streamed over 4 days and I played 24 games. 22 had cheaters in, either on my team or the other team, mostly on the other team. And it worried, that was like, well, that would have been like here. What worries me is the number of data bans has severely dropped. Like if you look, there's 7,000 BattleEye bans, 11,500 data bans. So that means there's, what, 4,500 data bans there. However, 8,000 BattleEye bans to 10,000 or 10,500. So yeah, 1,000 less. Not a massive amount, I suppose, across that. It's like 10% less or something. 20% less. But the fact that it's dipped in June worries me. Especially, well, then again, this is only data up to June. Maybe it wasn't that bad then. That's the end of season 1, isn't it? June. So then July's been a rough time, man. When this next report comes out, this has got to go up for July. Got to. A message from the team, the anti-cheat team. As passionate developers and players, we acknowledge cheating as a top priority for our game. We believe in fairness is at the core of competitive games such as Siege, fully dedicated to making safer, fairer, and more competitive. We believe that we've gathered the right team of passionate experts. A lot of passion used here. I like that. To tip the scales in our favour in the cat and mouse game. I said that earlier. Play against cheaters and cheat makers. As we move forward, we'll be providing more transparency on our ongoing strategies. Just want to say something. One of the ways that they could combat cheating right now is to bring back the 5-minute cancellation penalty. When there was the problems with the servers, you know, if you were to leave a game, you get an hour's ban. If you leave another game, you get a 2-day ban. If you leave another game, you get a week ban. Because on PC, you can cancel against cheaters. You were only getting 5-minute bans, and it didn't accumulate. It didn't stack up. So as soon as you played a cheater, you would leave the game, cancel the game. You had a 5-minute wait, you could go again. And you would get through. You didn't play a single cheater. It was like the best anti-cheat that's ever been added. Granted, that then causes problems, because if you're in a stack and you're playing a stack who are better than you, you can cancel the game for free and you don't have to play the better guys. You can just keep going. Excuse me. You could just keep going and going and going until you find a game that you want to play. So I understand there's problems behind it, but it was a dream time. Right, anti-toxicity. I need to hurry up here because we're on a 23-minute video. We've still got to talk about toxicity. Toxicity monitoring, philosophy protecting players from toxicity, which is bad, by the way, man. Like, I'm not high, I don't want any of this, or you'd never survive in a COD Modern Warfare 2 lobby. No, you probably wouldn't, but you know what? We've moved on since then. We've moved on since getting a microphone with one earphone on Xbox and calling people names all under the sun. Society's moved on, we've moved on. Like, let's not just be dicks to people on the internet if we can avoid it. We've redefined the way we want to monitor and drive our initiatives related to toxicity and Siege, and our main focus remains to protect all players from experiencing toxicity in game whilst measuring toxicity in a way that makes sense for all players. That doesn't really say anything, does it? In-game play reports are crucial for connecting multiple. Why have I just read multiple from? Crucial for connecting player experience with the anti-toxicity team. While your reports help to manually outline the possible behavioral patterns of an individual, they also help us to analyze the current state of toxicity in game throughout your perception of it. This is why in the future we'll be making changes to ensure the report feature is as accurate as it should be. You know what? I'd love a report option for username. Because I tried to change my username to one of my guys that comes into my stream, who we call Muff. I tried to change my name in game to Muff so I could just play as his name for the night. And it said, no, you can't have that, because I don't know if you know, Muff in the UK is like a slang term for a female reproductive organ. So it wouldn't let me have it. But then I've seen someone with a streamer name that is horrifically racist. And it's not like using letters and numbers instead of letters. It's just the word, man. It's right there. So how can they have that as a streamer name, but I can't have Muff? Anyway. Learning. Since the reputation system first released in its beta, probably beta, we have received a lot of valuable feedback. This feedback has taught us that all features related to anti-toxicity must be transparent and clear. We've not met this standard yet. Fairs? Bit of transparency and acknowledgement there. With your help, we've learned that we need to more closely align the anti-toxicity features with your expectations and sensitivities, fostering fair and community. Our commitment is to ensure the system not only protects, but is also easily understood. This is true because no one really knows the algorithm that's behind it. Primary goal of the rep system remains to protect the community from recurrent or highly toxic players while rewarding those who consistently demonstrate positive behavior. Okay. Yeah, that'd be good as well. Like, screw the guys over who are complete, but then also reward the people who are just good people and good players, man. Moving forward, we will be removing abusable actions that affect the player's rep standing. Okay. That's a good idea. Yeah, you can, like, can't you, like, I don't really get involved in this, because I only play ranked with stacks, so I don't really have people trying to screw me over that much, but can't you, like, have somebody stand next to a Goyo canister, then you C4 yourself, but it sets the Goyo canister off, which burns them, and that causes, or you die to the Goyo canister, and that's actually them doing damage to you, so you know what I mean. So the change is Year 9 Season 1, deactivation of written chat and voice chat penalties. Season 2.3, that's where we are now, right? Deactivation of the friendly fire kick that could be abused, leading to toxicity. That was what I'm talking about there with Goyo, isn't it? Or Chanka, maybe. Future removal of abusal, inaccurate actions which feed the reputation system. Future update, no time limit here. Removal of the reverse friendly fire deactivation after reviving a teammate due to his abuse. Right, okay, that'd be cool. Rep system. The current rep system is not as transparent or as clear to understand. You're not bloody kidding. So in Year 9 Season 4, we're aiming to release a refresh. As part of this, we're designing a new rep center, which will be easy to understand. Mousetrap it. This feature will also oh wow, okay. So if you've been done for Mousetrap, you lose reputation. That's cool. Go into AI text chat moderation. This is also good because and just make sure if you're doing this, if someone at Ubisoft is watching this, which they're probably not, but if you are, please just remember that people try and, I mean, they know this. I was going to say people type words by typing a different way or put spaces there, or they use slashes to make letters. Like you can make a certain letter by using like slashes rather than the actual letter. I'm sure they know that at the team, don't they? They're not sat there now going, you bloody are. That's the first time I've seen that, whilst this is my actual job. Impacts based on your rep system alone will be not activated until the reputation leaves beta and a full release is realized. This will not until you're absolutely confident in the... Yeah, they've got to make sure it's right, because you don't want to be like screwing people over because people have been abusing the system. With this in mind, we will not be sharing potential dates for a full release just yet. Okay. And then additional updates and features, commendations and squads. Oh, it did mention this in the thing. Okay, so we've talked about that. We've talked about this. We've talked about this. We haven't talked about this. There's a lot of dependency with other elements of the game. We know that in some instances, bugs can cause certain actions to be unfairly received. Working on, okay, yeah, fine. With a new strategy, our learnings, and a wealth of updates and changes planned, we hope that the reputation system will become a powerful tool for players. We want everyone to have the power and knowledge needed to be able to control their path. It's a bit deep, and we're working towards a clearer system. Thank you for your feedback. We look forward to bringing these changes to you. Thanks, team. Thank you, team. So, there we have it. I've spent 10 minutes ranting at the beginning. But I think, this is like a counseling video for me. I feel, I'm immensely frustrated about cheating. More so because I just want to play the game. More so because a legit game of Siege is one of the most joyful things that can happen. That's so sad. It's just so fun. I just want to play it legit because I enjoy it that much. And that's been taken away from me by these absolute puddings that decide to cheat. So look, don't think that Siege just has a cheating problem and nobody else does. The whole FPS market, the whole games market as a whole is infested. I used to play, I still do every now and then, but I used to play a lot of Age of Empires 4, which is an RTS. And people cheat in that by, you know what, the fog of war that covers the map at the start of an RTS game, like the map's unexplored. There's a cheat you can do where the map's just fully explored, so you know where all the resources are straight away. You don't need to explore the map. So there's cheats everywhere, man. But look, I'm going to say one more time. I am suffering at the minute, man, and I'm not having a good time of it, but I'm trying to stay positive. That sounds positive. I just want to see it happening. I want to see a bit of an update. I would happily play 25% of my games as cheaters. That would be an insane turnaround for me, instead of playing 70-75, which it is at the minute. And I feel like they could acknowledge it by reducing the time between games if you cancel a game. But then again, you've got the exploitive thing of you might stack up against someone that you don't want to play against, so you cancel the game, not because it's a cheater. But anyway, good things are happening. I've got faith in the team, and I say it one more time, and I know I'm repeating myself a few times here now, but ultimately, Ubisoft is a business, and a business needs to make money to survive. We all like to think that the games industry is there for the love of the game, the passion of the players, which it is. The devs are passionate. And I'll say this about Ubisoft as well. I've had the pleasure of being taken to a few events from Ubisoft. Thank you very much, Ubisoft. But having gone to a few of these events, you end up mingling with devs and with and coders and programmers and people who work on the game. I've not met one person that doesn't love Siege. I've not met one person that just thinks this is a job to them. Just speaking to them, I can tell that they're absolutely passionate about what they do. And I mean, I'm not going to start naming names, but I met two of the top guys in Brazil, absolutely live and breathe Siege. I met a couple of the coders and programmers at the after party in Brazil. One of them plays Siege more than I do and then works on it in the day as well. Don't be under this illusion because of what some numpties say on Twitter that Ubisoft don't care about Siege. They're trying to kill Siege. Why would that be true? It makes so much money for Ubisoft, which ultimately is a business. Why would it try and kill it? It wants it to survive. It wants it to thrive. Because ultimately, it wants its players to have fun, but it also wants to make money. So why would it try and kill Siege? Like, what are you talking about? I see these numpties on Twitter. The problem with Twitter is the clowns tend to have the loudest voice. People who just enjoy Siege and play it and have fun don't then tweet about it, but they're just idiots who are just seeking attention. They drive me up the wall, man. Anyway, keep the faith. I am, or maybe I'm just blind to it, and I'm just so desperate for cheaters to disappear. All the anti-toxicity stuff and the reputation stuff sounds good. We've been sort of cock-teased a little bit, excuse the phrase, with the reputation system. It's sort of been in, but it's in beta. Is it really functioning? Is it really doing what it's there to do? We don't really know. Maybe in Year 9 Season 4, as it says there, we'll find out. So the sort of reputation system's been sort of feathered. You know, oh, it's a bit of this. Maybe it's not doing that, but maybe we'll do this. And so when that happens, it'll be cool. But obviously, the main thing at the minute is cheating. If we can get a hold of that, Siege is, and it's better than any other FPS on the market, man. Since the cheating's increased, I've started thinking, like, how else when I'm not streaming, I'm like, I want to play an FPS. I like competitive games. Let's try a bit of Overwatch. Let's try a bit of PUBG. Let's try a bit of CSGO, Valorant. I've played Valorant recently. I'm not a fan of that game. CSGO, I've been enjoying a little bit more, but not much. But playing those games, I'm just like, after 2 or 3 games, I'm like, oh, I'm a bit bored now. I could play 8 hours of Siege and love it. And I'm just so desperate for it to be not cheater invested. Anyway, I have literally gone on and on and on, and that's enough from me. Keep the faith. All will be good. Come back to me in Year 9 Season 4 if it's not. But I'm just praying. I'm just holding on to a little bit of hope. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting involved with the channel. I really appreciate everything you do for me. Even just clicking the video to this point now helps me out. And I mean, there's no way anyone's watched 34 minutes of me ranting about anti-cheat. If you have, and you don't know what to put in the chat, get Red Duck we've got here. Shout out Vermilion Chaos for the Red Duck. Gave me that at the Manchester Major. So if you don't know, commenting, liking, subscribing really helps, obviously. Especially liking. But then if you don't know what to put in the comments, put Red Duck if you've made it this far. Once again, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.